Hello everyone. I am excited to start this scenes walkthrough because I've decided that for my scenes walkthrough, I'm going to go ahead and do a selection of scenes from my own life and kind of tell a story about how I came to be the way that I am. This is a good use of a lot of different backdrops because I'm going to need a lot of backdrops to make this work. So right now I only have this one white backdrop, and I actually do want to start with this one white backdrop, mostly because I am an artist and I like the idea of having a blank canvas that you can start with. Now I'm kind of going to take myself through several steps of my life. So let's go ahead and let's bring in a school. That's going to be my next backdrop. So if I'm looking on here, I think that there's a school somewhere here. So let's scroll down and see what we can find. Let's see. Perfect. There's a school. Okay. And actually, you know what? I like this school better, so we'll go with school 2. Now, after this, I want to go ahead and talk about how I ended up moving on to become a teacher. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So I'm actually going to upload a file that I have of a school laboratory that I think I can use for this. Let's see. It's going to upload it and bring it up. Perfect. Okay, I love this. So I've got a blank canvas, and I've got school, and I've got a lab. And then the last thing I want is I've decided that I have this really cool picture of Harvard that I have up on my wall, and I want to talk about how I went to graduate school at Harvard. So let's go ahead and take a picture of this so I can show you how I've used each of the different backdrop selections. So I'm going to go ahead and photograph this, allow. Now it should show up. Okay, so it's getting a reflection of my computer, which I don't want, so I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. There's Harvard, and we'll go ahead and save. Okay, here we go. So let's start off first of all with my sprites. Now, right now I just have Scratchcat. We'll put it back on backdrop 1 for now. I only have Scratchcat, but I want my own sprite for myself. Okay, I think that Scratchcat is going to be my narrator, and I'm going to be the main character. So let's go ahead and pull up a new sprite, and I'm going to upload a picture of myself that I have, which I don't have on here, but I believe I have in here. Okay, so let's see if I can find it. Dr. Matt. Okay, perfect. This is a picture of me dressed up as a character that I do for some science videos that I've made in the past. So let's make this a little bit smaller. And this is going to be the other sprite that's going to end up representing me as an individual. So we'll shrink that a little bit more. Okay, let me put that over. We'll have it start right about there. Okay, great. So first off, I want to go ahead and have some background music playing for this. So I'm going to go up to events. And do when green flag clicked. I'm going to have this loop for forever, and I want a sound to play. Right now we only have the meow sound, which unfortunately would not sound good, as you can see. So let's go ahead and pull up a couple of other sounds. I have a sound in mind that I actually really like. That's one of the music loops on here, and it's the xylophone 2. Okay, let's check out these other 2 xylophones, or other 3 xylophones, just in case. Okay. And last but not least. Oh, I really like this one. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with this one. Let's pull this up. And if we go back to scripts, I can select it from the drop-down menu, Xylo 1. Okay, so let's see how this sounds. Okay, perfect. I really like this. I think this is going to be a good, solid sound to have going throughout this whole thing. Okay, now next, we're going to have to start switching the scenes, but in order to do that, we have to have the sprites do things. So let's first of all have our Scratchcat be our narrator. Okay, so let's start off first of all with when green flag clicked. So to start it off, I'm going to say that he introduces the scene. He's going to go ahead and say, there once was a girl named Mary Jo. Okay? Now, That will go ahead and play for 3 seconds. And I don't actually want my character to appear until those 3 seconds are up. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to Dr. Mad. I'm going to pull up when green flag clicked. I'm going to say wait for 3 seconds to line it up. And then as soon as 3 seconds plays, I'm going to go ahead and put show. So we're going to put at the end of this hide, but for now we'll go ahead and put show so that as soon as it starts, then I'll go ahead and I'll show up right here. And to make sure that I'm in this area right here and I'm this size, let's go to motion. We'll say go to the spot that I'm currently in, okay? And we're also going to have me point in direction 90. Okay, so let me show you what this would look like. If I was over here, for example, let's say we press green flag. And then I'll be right there. Okay, perfect. And then I'll sit for maybe like, I don't know, 3 seconds. And we'll go back to Sprite, the Scratch Cat. And we'll say, wait for 1 second. Okay. And then let's say that then the Scratch Cat says she loved school, but was very prone to tripping. Okay, great. I'll say that. Scratch Cat will say that for 3 seconds. Okay? All right, now at this point, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. So at this point, the Scratch Cat says, there once was a girl named Mary Jo for 3 seconds, waits 1 second, and then says this again. So we have a total of 7 seconds. So let's say that at 7 seconds, the backdrop is then going to switch. So it's going to switch to the next backdrop, which was backdrop 2, school 2. Okay, we'll go back to the sprite. So switch to school 2. Okay. And then when the backdrop switches to school 2, I actually want to go ahead and have my Dr. Mad do something. And there's a cool thing that I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the event block when backdrop switches. So when backdrop switches to school 2, that's when I want Dr. Mad, I think I want her to go ahead and cross, but then all of a sudden trip, because I am very prone to tripping after all. So let's do that. So we'll have her glide to about here. So let's say that she glides to about here. Okay. So we'll have her glide 1 second to where she is right now. That's actually, let's make it about 2 seconds. Okay. Now, once that happens, I want her to sort of look like she's falling over. So I'm going to have her turn, let's do 25 degrees. And then as soon as she turns, I want her to say something. I want her to make an ow sound, which I think I'm going to go ahead and record. That sounds kind of fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and record a new one. So we'll go to record. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the microphone down, and then we'll record myself saying ouch. Here we go. Ouch! Let's play. Ouch! Awesome. I love it. Perfect. Okay, so we'll go back to scripts, and we'll do play recording. We'll do recording 1. Okay, now let's see what happens. Technically, we're all set up, so that's gliding, ouch, and then it'll turn, and then it'll go ahead and say ouch. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and let's start this over again. Awesome. Very nice. Okay, now, technically, when this starts off first, Dr. Mad is still in this position, but we'll fix it at the end so that she goes back to the part that she started in. But one thing that we do need to do is we need to make sure that before anything starts, that the backdrop actually goes back to the original one. So let's make sure that we do that. We'll do switch backdrop to backdrop 1, and then it'll wait 3 seconds. Okay, let's test that. Okay, great. Yeah, so it went back to the original white. Okay, great. We're definitely getting there. Now, at this point, I want to go ahead and I want to switch to the next backdrop, which will be backdrop laboratory. And that'll mean that I'm in school. Okay, so Now, the interesting thing is that we can do for this guy, so we can say when backdrop switches, and we'll do to laboratory, we want him to go ahead and say something. So let's do, she grew up to be a math and science teacher. He'll say that for 2 seconds. And she loved to make science wraps. Awesome. Great. And then at that point, then I want Dr. Mad to go ahead and come really close to the screen and say something. So let's do this. So this will happen for 4 seconds. So let's say that when backdrop switches then to the laboratory, then Dr. Mad is going to go ahead and wait for 4 seconds. So we'll do wait 4 seconds. Okay. And then she'll say, science wraps, yeah. Awesome. For 2 seconds. And actually, when she says this, I want her to go ahead and come really close to the screen and be pointing in a different direction. So let's go ahead and let's do that. She's pointing in direction 90. And she is going to go ahead and come really close. So we'll change set size to, how about 200? Okay, let's try that and see what happens. Here we go. Excellent. I love it. Very nice. Okay, and then last but not least, we'll finish it off where the final story happens, where she goes to Harvard. So then we'll go ahead and say that the backdrop is going to switch again. So we'll do looks, then switch backdrop to last part, which is photo 1, which is already selected for right now. And once that happens, we'll go ahead and use this same block again. When backdrop switches, and we'll do to photo 1. Okay, and at this point, all I really want to happen is for Dr. Mad to be kind of doing a little dance from side to side. So let's go back to Scratchcat, and we'll say again, when backdrop switches, we'll say one more say. Let's do say she just graduated from Harvard. And then one more. And she's eager to return to her students in California. Excellent. Okay. And then at that point, we're going to go ahead and have Dr. Mad sort of be dancing around while Scratchcat is saying that stuff. So we'll have her change her size once again. Let's put her down to 60 again. And then we'll go ahead and have her sort of, just kind of glide from place to place. So we'll do a loop. And then we'll have her glide to about here. So glide for 1 second. And then glide to about here. And she'll go back and forth and do that over and over and over and over again. Okay. Let's move this over here so we have a little bit more space. Okay, now this is a lot of blocks, and there's a lot going on here, but it makes sense because this is a scene, and there's a lot of changes happening. Here we go. Okay, now one thing I forgot, we got to make sure that Dr. Mad goes back to her original size. So for looks, let's go ahead and say set size to, once again, 60. Okay. And one thing I'm noticing, let's have her do this right away instead of waiting 3 seconds. So we'll do this. Move this. Move this down here. Set size. And then wait 3 seconds. Okay, here we go. Perfect. We're almost done. Now, a couple of things. The first thing that I noticed is that when I tripped, there was a little bit too quick of a movement when switching to the laboratory. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a wait block. So let's do wait 1 second here. Okay. And then we're also going to go ahead and for this part, we're going to have Dr. Mad say one more thing, just to sort of finish this up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and have her say, back to Callie. Okay? All right. And then finally, once all of this is done, you'll just go ahead and pause it, and then that will be the end. So here we go. Beautiful. I love it. Excellent. I think that this is great. I really like the way that this ended up turning out. I think that it's nice how it kind of has these really good steps from the beginning to the end. Now, the last thing I want to do is just sort of create a nice ending for this. So instead of having this happen forever, I'm actually going to go ahead and just have it repeat 3 times. Let's do 3. And then after that, I want Dr. Mad to just go ahead and hide, meaning that she'll just disappear. And what'll be nice is that she'll show up back again when the project starts over again. So this way it'll be a nice finish and everything will be over. Okay, we're going to run through this one more time, and then if I'm happy with it, we're going to share it and go back to the Scratch project page. Here we go. Perfect. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, last but not least, we'll title this Scenes Activity Mary Jo Through the Years. We'll share it, and we're all done. And it's ready to go ahead and put into the Scenes Studio. And there you have it, a complete story about me with all of the fixings and lots of different backdrops to bring us through the entire trajectory of my life history.